All right.
Yay.
Finally. We need some
Yeah,
tequila
amazing.
after that.
I really need tequila after that. Wow. Yeah.
Shit.
For sure. Oh.
Well, I brought some.
Wow.
I didn't know. It's
Yeah.
it's 11. It's 11 o'clock where
Let's
I'm at.
fucking
You know what? This deserves it.
For sure, for sure. Oh, it's brilliant.
Cheers.
Cheers, Sam. Yes, cheers with my Lucozade right now. But I'm so impressed.
Wait, what are you
that
drinking?
You brought just a Lucozade.
Oh, I had to.
Yeah. I so would have brought tequila if I'd known you were coming so prepared. Well, thank you, actually. Yeah.
Oh my
You
God,
brought tequila.
It's tequila time.
Like, wow, it's perfect. It's perfect. I'm impressed. I'm so impressed.
For me, it's the best. I'm having the best time of my life. It's really like, if I would tell myself, like, in 3 or 5 years, you're gonna be in Tequila here with your 3D PFP instead of your head, I would say you fucking crazy.
So even when our ape coin that we were given was worth, $500,000-$600,000, I held it and was like, I'm buying land with it. Then I bought land, and it's like I could have waited and bought more, but it didn't matter. I stuck to the plan I said I was going to stick to. You know what I mean? So like, I don't care what I ended up doing. I did what I said I was going to do, and that, at the end of the day, is the more important thing.
For sure, like conviction and yeah.
Yeah, and also, like you said, the experiences of things. Like, my favorite experience to tell people is when they're like, oh, I wouldn't sell my NFT for 100 ETH either. It's like, well, motherfucker, has anybody ever offered you 100 ETH for your NFT? Fuck no. Because until they do, you can't say what you would do. So, like, all of us, we know, if you still have your ape right now, you got offered 150 ETH for that bitch once. So,
yeah.
And that was $500,000 on one day. Like, and just to sit there and scroll past that email and be like, nah, I'm good. It's like, to say you did that, like, if it goes to zero, I don't give a shit. You can say I'm stupid for doing that, but guess what? I get to say I did it. I scoffed at that milli. It's like, like, what I'm gonna do with it's more important than taking that money.
Like, you don't have to build anything. The fact that you want to prop your friends up and help them, and help others because even projects need, hyped apes or hyped anything, everyone needs hype. So, I mean, there is a role for that,
Yeah. And that's what I like to get excited, I like to be able to be like, let's this is incredible. Like, how cool is this? If like, I think this is cool. Like, do you think this is cool? Right? Like, if we both think it's cool, then like really we can show other people that it's cool. Then that's yeah. I don't know. Like under my filter, like, I'm just smiling so big right now because like that's just my truth. Oh, just like that's my truth, right?
I can cut that out if you want.
No worries. I mean, I'm like fully doxxed at this point, so it's okay. Yeah. But at least they know I'm telling the truth now when they see under the filter. I'm just cheesing, because it just gets me so stoked. It gets me so stoked.
I love it. I love it because I feel like you're the male ape version of me.
Yeah, that's why I was like, dude, like every time, like, in your videos and Instagram, you're always so hyped, and it's so cool. And unfortunately, like it's the exception rather than the rule these days, So
I know, it's so sad.
That's why I think like the positivity, but the real genuine positivity, right? It's not like this fake, like every day's gonna be the best day of my life, It's like, no, like I'm fucking psyched, and like here is why, and like I'm so grateful for this on a daily basis, and that allows me to stay in this kind of peak state, right? Because like I understand like how my life is compared to so many others, or compared to where it was at one point. It's that like actual evidence that like shows me like there's so many reasons to be stoked rather than just like trying to spread this fake negative or this fake positivity, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's intoxicating. It really is, you know, and you can notice when it's genuine from another person. So yeah.
For sure, for sure. We're definitely like this in the same, I guess, dimension, you know, because
Totally.
this
Yeah.
world is wild. And
Yes.
I was saying on another podcast, or maybe I say it on most of them, I'm not sure, but like we're at such an amazing time of history right now. We can
Yeah.
write our own story, and we can rewrite a story if we're not currently happy with it. You know, like every day you wake up with a new breath, and it's
Yeah.
a blessing to wake up breathing. But if you could create anything with the IP of your Bored Ape, and in the next 5 years, you would kind of see the future, where would you want to be as your Bored Ape? If there was no barrier, like no barrier.
I would like my ape to be a comedian in like in the series, some type of a movie or show. And I say that because I think in general, and that's a quick answer though, but that's my first thought. Is like I like to be him in movies. I say that because I believe at some point apes will be like internet celebrities in an NFT space in a certain way, especially if you created a great IP. If you're thinking long term, and especially if we're somewhat the face of NFTs. Entertainment, business, entertainment, music, and fashion are like one of the biggest consumer brands, like where people consume their money into. So I will like, and that's where all the eyes go to. So I would like to have all eyes, selfishly, of course, I want all eyes on my ape. So I would rather be like in movies or in fashion for sure. Something like that
I
aspect,
like it.
which I'm working on towards now. So maybe it's going to happen.
Yeah, under the spotlight.
Yeah,
I think you could definitely make it happen.
There's even projects that even help build like movies. I'm not going to say movies, but integrate your ape or whatever IP you hold into these new shows, like non-fungible films.
Yeah.
That's like a project that he's building like, with the movies and something like that.
That he's, this ape born on the wrong side of the swamp, just kind of did what he had to do to survive, grew up in sort of meager circumstances and, got is an ape with a good heart, but got involved with the wrong crew with the Apes of Anarchy, which is this local biker gang, and he had to carry out sometimes unscrupulous activities, but kind of in his workings with the Apes of Anarchy, he got to see a lot of things, and one of the things that he got to do were moving cargo and like new products, like all kinds of stuff. And so I think you're talking sort of later down the line. I think maybe Nicky Nichols is the guy that you go to for merchandise, because he sees all of it coming off the docks, coming in and out, being shipped in and out of the yacht club and whatnot. And so maybe he's a purveyor of hard goods of sorts. So there could be something around there. It's an idea I'm sort of like toying around with in the back of my head, and so like if a product wants to get launched, maybe I have this platform someday that helps incubate or launch it to the broader Web3 community or whatever community is. But yeah, that could be something down the line that I could see myself building at some point.
Nice. Actually, the merchandise makes a lot of sense after seeing behind in your bedroom. I'm sorry, you're not, maybe not bedroom, sorry, just your room.
The office, yeah.
The office. And
wife would kill me if this was the bedroom.
I don't even know why that came out, but your office. After seeing your office, it makes so much sense to me that you would go down the merch route. Yeah, I think actually it would suit your ape perfectly, and it can be something that's everlasting. I just see goodness. I see something that's going to become a part of us all, and we're all going to be blended into it. I guess it depends on how many people need the government to hold their hand to be led into it, compared to the people who will take it upon themselves to lead themselves.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's it certainly takes a different personality to be willing to take that first step. But I think I think that's why we're here, right? Like it's our duty to kind of show people that there's plenty of ways in, and it's not too scary.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I so agree with you that like if you just show up and like you want to learn every day, and you just take like just a small little step every single day, like you're going to make it long term in this space, because everyone will be onboarding some level of any type of good, any type of e-commerce. Like all this stuff will be coming here. Education, like there will be so much opportunity. So just being here and trying to figure out what needs to happen next, or where you can help out, or what piece of knowledge you can learn, or whatever. Like that's really what it's all about, because people are willing to take help if people are willing to kind of put themselves out there and give it.
The community have to want to be in it together and build on the IP together, rather than flipping for a quick few ETH.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't know, like I feel people like lost sense of that. Like they think that like, the Yuga founders, again, they've executed flawlessly, but they think like the founders are the reason why people have made money. But like the community built the project. You know what I mean? Like if the community wasn't as, vibrant and vocal and united as they were, like it wouldn't have provided the opportunity for the founders to then go out and do what they've done, right? There's this very cyclical nature to the space where it's like the community builds the project and then it's up to the founders to execute. But like, again, we were part of that exclusive club, right? There was that, like there was excitement around that. But yeah, like people started taking their apes and putting them on skateboards and even putting them on stickers or whatever. And like, even still, I was talking about this in one of the Ether Brews Twitter spaces, where it's like, if you go and look at like the BAYC, like Twitter page, it's literally like 99% them like retweeting pictures of like, holders like wearing the merch, right? Like that's it. And so it's the fact that this whole community is so united and engaged together and promoting this, that like, if you go out and you wear your hoodie or you wear your shirt, like you take a picture of it, you tweet it, you tag Yuga, right? That's what like, that's what drives the FOMO. That's what grows the community. That's what grows the project. And that, and in essence, it's the thing that's going to make people money, right? Because people want to be a part of that club, and you can replicate it with any project. But the problem is right now is that people are not staying in projects long enough in order to actually see that type of growth. They're expecting, hey, I bought into this project, like when are the founders going to pay me? And it just doesn't really work like that. And I think, again, that's the challenge right now. And so that's why I'm hoping that people stick around and heavily engage with a couple projects that they really can make an impact in.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like you said before, we're a very small amount of people. It's a very small percentage of people who are the whole community. So we are just buying and selling from each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
TikTok, right? And like the next generation, like my younger cousins, like the generation after them, they're growing up in a world where digital is first, and like the idea of an analog system is just not even fathomable. Like I remember trying to imagine a time before cell phones, and like not to date myself too much, but I can still kind of remember going to meet up at the tree or going to meet up at the park, and you just kind of expect to see people there because that's what you do. But like my little cousin and I, we called on the phone the other day, and I actually picked up the phone and I called her, and she stops me and she thinks I'm prank calling her, like it's a joke, because up until that point in her life, she had never like had an actual phone call. It was always FaceTime. So she thought that it was a joke. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like I'm officially old. And B, I wish I could grow up all over again, because the world is going to be so cool. And like, I look forward to the little Elmanos running around in the future metaverse digital reality that we find ourselves in because of that self-expression. Like it's going to be beautiful to throw angel wings on if I want to be an angel, or, be even cooler to say, hey, let's make 2 clicks and turn like this walkway into an entire interactive video game instead of just like walking down the sidewalk. And super bullish on all of those things.
I do know there's other good communities and other great people. Just when it comes to a community almost as a whole, almost 100% that I know of are that tight-knit sort of support network, where everyone is willing to support each other. We all want to see each other make it. Yes, there might be a few bad apples who might not feel that way, but the majority, I've never known anything like it. And it is incredible. It's so good to see. Amazing.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this in my life either. It's something like, like after college, I had such a good time and met so many people so easily and so quick. And then you graduate and you go out in the real world, and then it's like, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but in Los Angeles, it's like not easy to talk to people. In fact, I do know how it is. I go to Miami or New York and I say anything to anybody, and you're talking for 2 hours or having a conversation, or they'll just shoo you away real quick. They're not going to like pretend to like you, and but it's like, I guess it's just, I've always found it like ever since college, difficult to like find people that think like me. And I went to Berkeley, so it was a very revolutionary kind of school. And my professors are talking about Bitcoin in 2010. And like,
I love it.
I literally, I'm like either choosing between Subway $5 footlongs or $5 worth of Bitcoin. And I got, man, $5 worth of Bitcoin would have been a lot right now. So, but it was like, if I really didn't have that one sandwich, like, I could have so much more. But it's like, so I knew exactly what crypto could do. I have like a revolutionary background.
For example, Blockbuster versus Netflix, taxis versus Uber, all of the companies that never saw the future and then didn't believe in it when it started to happen, that never jumped on it, never changed, never adapted their business models to something that was obvious. And to me, this space is obvious. I know lots of people don't understand it yet. Mainstream media don't talk about it in a positive way normally. And it's almost sidelining people's views, is putting blinkers on. But to me, and to you probably as well, it is so clear. It is so crystal clear that anyone who decides to take on board the information now, to just start to learn, start to immerse their minds into it and start to connect with people, even if it's just on Twitter, it's so valuable. All will gain value from it. It's obvious to me.
Yeah. It's, I get a lot of people that ask me about, well, what is Web3? My explanation is it's what the internet should have been. The information age is what we've gone through for the past few decades with the internet. We have all the information we need at our fingertips. Well, it's great. We can learn so fast and find information so fast. The problem is our system wasn't really ready for that. There was people out there that didn't want everybody to know all the information or have access to all the information that they might have access to. And because that's the powers that be, right? I mean, I think the information age has got to the point to where it's passing the technology age or corresponding with it, to where we're using technology to find more and more information faster and faster. And that's only going to lead to, in my opinion, more decentralization and the fact that everybody is created equal. We don't need 8 people at the top to tell us, this is how it needs to be done, because nothing's behind the scenes. It's all on the blockchain. You can go back and look at each transaction. And, I know these are just kind of concepts of early adoption of crypto, but this is the kind of conversation that I would have with somebody that asks, like, well, what is this, what is Web3? What is that going to do? What does it mean? And that's kind of what I go back to, is that the information age has passed the systems that were built back in the day. Now people can go research what actually happened and find that information and make their decisions based on just having to listen to what somebody's telling them. And I think that's where we're at in this space, is that we want to be in charge of our own financial situation and finances. That's what crypto's about, right? We see the feds just continue to print money, and we know that doesn't work. It's failed multiple times, across multiple societies in the past, and it's usually the absolute downfall of a society. So I think that the information that's available that we can go get, it's kind of a do your own research thing at this point, because you're not going to have any media outlets really pushing it. It's not in their interest. It doesn't pump their bags, so they don't care. But I think that we have enough information now, or access to enough information now, that we realize that we don't really need some of the oversight all the time that may only benefit a few people.
Supplying mediums of people to be able to like fully control their money and not have to worry about the government or another entity like controlling that aspect of it, I think is important. And if people want to do it, then having that available, I think, is going to be a huge catalyst. And, it might be the downfall of certain currencies and economies, but as history tells us, I think it's like every 200 or 300 years, like a culture or something, civilization collapses, right? And we're kind of on the precipice of that, or the cusp of reaching that here in the United States and other countries and civilizations in the world. So it's interesting to see what the next step will be for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It gives so much freedom to people financially. If you think about it, any higher power above us, whether it be the law, whether it be government, whether it be banks that obviously hold your money, but don't really hold your money. They're gambling with people's money. No bank has got money there, if you know what I mean, in that way. It's not like you've got money in your account and your account is in the bank. It's all digits on a screen, meaning
just numbers on a computer.
Your money is in a bank. Yeah, exactly. And I think people naively think that when they have their money in the bank, it's there and it's constantly there all the time. When really it's debt, and banks use money to invest in, into stocks and shares and all sorts of things with people's money, so banks need people's money. And obviously the financial roundabout keeps people in that cycle. They need people when they're born to have a tax code. Then they know for exactly X amount of years how many more zeros they're going to make on that one person because of tax. And then the circle goes on and on and on. And everything in any developed part of the world is the framework is created to keep people in that country and to keep them serving the powers above them. And it's quite an amazing thing that now with blockchain, smart contracts and digital wallets, how freeing it is to know that the banks and the governments and anyone above do not control it. They can't control it. And right now it's quite free. I don't know how it's going to look, in future when things are more policed. But at the moment, people can really set themselves up for life if they only try to and learn.